What's up guys, welcome back to another video. If you didn't watch my last tour stories video, basically this is like a video series I started talking about like the craziest, wildest, most dramatic or just coolest moments that I kind of experienced on tour. So this one's about Nashville, and these two girls who I think were either from like Georgia or Virginia or something, who drove all the way to Nashville and basically the whole time tried to seduce me into a threesome. Tour stories. So one of the coolest things about like going on tour, it wasn't just like playing music, being in a club or a venue, like performing for people. Obviously I love that and that was awesome. But obviously when you're traveling to another state and city, there's so much to do in that state or city, especially if you don't live there, that you don't normally get to do. So one thing that I really did on tour, like before shows, was I tried to explore the cities, the states, and do as much as I can, see as much as I can while I was there for a show or whatever. And so like all my closest homies would always pull up with me. Basically my YouTube community, Twitch, Discord community are like my inner circle. Shout out to them. They traveled all across the country for me to come support me, to come explore with me, and to come do all this fun stuff with me. Go hiking, go to shows, go to arcades, go to museums, try new foods, explore the cities, basically that I was flying into. But then obviously there's the outer circle of like people who like follow me and like support me. Like TikTok, Instagram, the more casual followers. I would say a lot of them aren't always like following me or supporting me exactly for my music or my content. Some of them are a little freaky.
I'm your freaky Nikki.
And that's fine, like I'm not hating. But I was announcing I was gonna be in Nashville, Tennessee soon for like the next like leg of my tour. And obviously like my crew and like my inner friends and like family, they pulled up and we were going to enjoy Nashville together, not only to, turn up. I never really explored Nashville. So like for example, I went to like the Natural History Museum in Nashville, the Country Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, we did putt-putt arcades. We had a great time. We partied, we turned up. These two girls that when I got in Nashville, they were like replying to my Instagram story like crazy. And they're like, yo, we're in Nashville and wanted to see you. Like, what are you doing before your shows? And like I said, I can't remember if they traveled from Georgia or Virginia as one of those two. And they were definitely kind of more like the freaky type, but like I don't like to judge anyone. And there's been a lot of people that have come to me on that energy, that timing of like, thinking I'm super attractive and wanting to be like, freaky or intimate. I kind of like explained the situation, the vibe, and they've been understanding and, become some great friends of mine. And other people don't really get that hint, or they take it as like a sign of rejection. They start to hate a little bit. I was like, you know what, let me bring them around my friends and like my inner circle, and maybe they can, join us. They'll see that, we're here to vibe, hang out, have a good time. And it's not on all this like, freaky sexual timing. And maybe they'll chill with us. I was like, yeah, you can pull up on us. Right now, we're going to the Rock and Roll Country Music Hall of Fame or whatever. If you want to meet us there and hang out with us for the day, and just explore Nashville with us, pull up. So we get there, and I had never met these people in person, and I kind of only knew what they looked like through their social media posts. And they pull up, and they're both wearing like boot cut jeans, like Nashville, Tennessee cowgirl hats, like boots, and like, these shirts where like their boobs are just like out and about. But immediately I can notice there was like a weird tension. They were like, kind of giving me like a freaky tension. They walked up to the group. I was like, oh, this is so-and-so, and this is her friend so-and-so. All my friends are super chill and cool. So they're like, yo, what up? Nice to meet you. Giving them hugs, dapping them up. We'll call one pinky and one boobs. And to be fair, I didn't give them this nickname. My community kind of gave them, these two girls, this nickname. And one had pink hair, and the other one just, like showing their boobs off to everybody, which, I'm not here to judge that. Anyways, we're in the Country Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm meeting them, I give them a little side hug, I took a couple pictures with them. And things are super chill, super vibey. We were going to the museum, like I said, I think there's probably like 15 or 16 people with me who would come to support me and like my close friends and the Discord, Twitch crew. And so, I'm talking to so many different people, having little moments like, oh, check this out, like looking at these different displays at the Hall of Fame. And I remember at one point I was talking to her while like looking at like a guitar or something on the wall. She was like, I didn't expect there to be so many girls here. And I was like, oh, what did you expect? A bunch of dudes? And she kind of laughed, and she was like, what are you doing tonight? It wasn't my birthday, but it was like a couple days after my birthday. My friends were celebrating for me. They kind of like a little surprise birthday for me, got me some gifts and stuff. And I told her that, oh yeah, my friends planned this special birthday party for me, so I don't really know what's going on. And I can kind of tell she was like kind of looking for like an invite, But like, you know, to be fair, I wasn't planning this, so I really didn't know like what the deal was, where we were going. Back at the Airbnb, we had a big Airbnb. They had like set up all this surprise birthday stuff, like cake, gifts, presents, you know, drinks, whatever. So I really didn't know like exactly what was going on, or like, you know, if I could just invite people, or what, you know, what the hell was going on. And so basically everyone was getting along pretty well. I mean, we had just met 2 new people, Pinky and Boobs, and, you know, my crew, and was chilling with them. We're super like non-judgmental and welcoming. And I remember this point came where we finished the museum, and by the time we were finishing the museum, you know, she was really like kind of like following me around, like trying to like talk to me a lot. Like I'd be talking to someone else and she'd be like, oh yeah, and I love that too, and kind of like just, you know, really trying to get my attention, which, you know, it's fine. Drove, I don't remember how far, you know, like a good like 5+ hours to come meet me and see me. So I'll always appreciate someone who goes out of their way, come support me, especially when I'm in a whole other city or state, you know, trying to do something. We're on our way to Raising Cane's, and at this point, we're going to get some food before we go to our next thing. And she was really turning it up, the flirtations and things like that. She was like, well, maybe after your birthday party, your friends go to bed. And this was Boobs talking to me. She's like, me and my friend Pinky can come over. Like, oh yeah, haha, what for? I was like, you know, I got a lot going on. I gotta wake up early tomorrow, so we're gonna be doing this pretty late, so I don't know, you know, what's going down. And I remember this is when the first time she kind of mentioned like some freaky stuff. She was like, you don't want 2 girls in your room tonight? And I was just like, I remember I was like, no, I'm like, it's not like that or anything. But, and the thing is, I probably should have done better just communicating and being real. But like at the same time, like, you know, I felt bad. She'd come all this way to see me and stuff like that, and I didn't want to be like, oh hell no, you know. But at the same time, like, I don't really roll like that. Like, I'm a lover boy, you know. I'm not really out in the streets like that. I was like, oh no, that's not it, you know, and give him a little excuse. And then at Cane's, like, I'm sitting here and I got my friend Turk next to me right here, and this is the end of the table, and her friend Pinky is sitting across from me. She's sitting diagonal to me. 6 people were kind of sitting off to my right. And we were eating Cane's, chilling, and like, you know, she was definitely being promiscuous. She had an OF, so she's talking about OF. Yeah, my mom's really supportive. She helps me take my OF pictures and videos, and we were just like, you know, no judgment, but that's pretty crazy. Your mom helping you with OF. And I just remember, I'm just sitting there trying to eat my chicken, you know, I'm praying. Things are an awkward tension, and like, she kept like looking at me like corner of her eye while I was just trying to eat, talk to Turk, and like, make small talk with people. And then out of nowhere, she was like, oh yeah, and I got this new tattoo. And I guess she had a tattoo between her boobs right here. Literally, I just see her grab her hands like this, and like, so my boy Turk sitting next to me, and the rest of my friends sitting over here. And she like turns to them, and she like pulls down her shirt, showing off her tits for this one little tattoo. And I remember as soon as she started doing that, I just looked to the left, and I was like, God, bro, please help me. I remember I was like, I'm not looking, I'm a Christian. Everyone at my table was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, just straight boobs inside of Cane's, and that's how she got the nickname Boobs. And obviously, like, my friend Turk and some other people, like, I think they low-key kind of enjoyed it. You know, they high-key enjoyed it. I remember, like, 2 of my friends could kind of tell, like, I was starting to get uncomfortable, and, like, they would come up and whisper things to me and say things to me. And so my friends were kind of keep them distracted. They kept, like, trying to, like, seduce me or something, and my friends did a great job of keeping them distracted, make sure that, you know, we still had fun and included them, but also didn't give them a chance to, like, you know, try anything too crazy. And then after that, she was like, oh yeah, and if you think that's good, like, look at this. And she, like, opened her phone and was, like, scrolling, showing her off her OnlyFans pictures to everyone at the table. And I was just, like, looking away, like, just trying to eat my chicken, mind my business, not get involved with all that, because I knew that was just drama. It was just a slippery slope into, like, you know, nothing good could come from that. For me at least. So after that, I was like, all right, guys, great dinner, you know. Good chicken wings, chicken fingers. We saw some breasts. It wasn't chicken breasts, I didn't see, but you know what I mean? And so then after that, we go to Dave & Buster's, because like, I love arcades, and I love going to arcades with my friends. So we go to an arcade, and I guess this girl just had like crazy money from, I guess, OnlyFans or whatever she did. So she was like, you know, dropping bands at Dave & Buster's. She did this thing where there's like this suit you get into, and it raises you up, and you turn into a claw for a claw machine, and you get these giant prizes. I remember at this point, she was talking to my boy Turk a lot. I was like, okay, Turk, like maybe you'll do your big one on this. Like, she got this giant floaty. I'm saying this thing was huge. It was like one of those like donut floaties or whatever. And she was like, I don't want to carry this. Will you carry it? And I was like, nah. And she's like, Turk, will you carry it? And my boy Turk, he was seeing hard eyes, and he was like, give me that. And listen, I don't blame him. He's a red-blooded American, you know, he's trying to do his big one. I had no idea if she was feeling him or not or whatever. And then we were walking, and she was like, aw, thank you, Turk. And he's like, yeah, I got you, my lady. And she was like, you're like the cool dad of the group. And I could see at that point, I was just like, and my boy Turk was like, Yeah, 'cause my boy Turk's a little bit older than me. Is after that, they kind of shot that down. Is we had fun in the arcade, you know, nothing crazy really happened. And after that, me and my OG crew, we go back, and Pinky and Boobs, they go to their hotel, wherever they were staying. And I remember that whole night, you know, I was celebrating my birthday with my friends, and they were just blowing up my Instagram DMs. One of them actually was like, "What, are you gay? Bro, am I fruity or zesty? Because I don't want a threesome." Honestly, like, I would say, like, in this day and age, like, a guy who says that, or, like, you know, girl sees that, like, that's probably what they think, because, like, most people, I'm sure, would probably, like, shoot at that chance or whatever. Like, we drove 5 or 6 hours all the way out here to see you, and you won't even give us any private time. And I was like, listen, like, I'm here, like, my friends did all this stuff to celebrate my birthday, so I'm trying to, like, respect this moment, respect them, and just have a good time with them, celebrate my birthday. And we probably celebrated like 1 or 2 a.m. And I remember she was like, you know, after everyone falls asleep, sneak us into your room and all this stuff. I was like, you are wild, and, you know, just trying to tempt me, and like just trying to like do this. And she was like, when are you ever gonna have like another chance to have 2 girls in your room on one of your tours or whatever? She was laying it on thick and heavy. And at this point, I kind of had enough. I look, listen, I do really appreciate you guys coming out here. I am flattered that like you guys are attracting me in that way, whatever. Like, in the day, I'm out here to, you know, be with my friends, have a good time, make memories, play music, do this, do that. Like, I'm not really on tour to go around and smash and do all this, you know, crazy sexual like stuff with people. Like, at the end of the day, this is like an experience, and I want to keep the experience pure. And like, the thing is, there's a million reasons why I personally didn't want to do it, or I wasn't into it. But like, at this point in my life, I had learned that, like, you know, temporary hookups or getting involved with girls who are kind of like, and there's no hate to them, like, kind of like involved in, you know, how they are on social media, who they interact with, and like their like behavior. Like, getting involved sexually with girls like that would lead to nothing but like drama and chaos and like shit talking and all this different stuff down the road, especially like if I did do that and then, you know, didn't compensate a relationship or like, you know, continue, you know, being with them in that way, because I genuinely had no interest. I've protected myself from things like that in my life, because like, you know, obviously, you know, when I was in my teens and early 20s, like, I'd be like, oh yeah, let's go, let's do this, you know. And that only ever took from me, you know, my mental, my physical, my spiritual, like, and it never helped me. It never benefited me in life to like indulge in those type of things. Like, in the end, it would always, you know, somehow mentally, physically, you know, hurt or drain me in some type of way. At that point, when I kind of like explained it to her, zero interest. I remember she was like, oh yeah, and I love your EDM music and your videos. And after that, it was zero interest. Like, unfollowed me on everything and basically said like, oh yeah, geez, thanks for wasting my time. What am I, a hooker, bro? You drove all the way out here because you thought we were just gonna hook up and do something crazy? She like unfollowed me on everything, blocked me. I had a couple people who was like, yo, this girl is like talking mad crap about you, and basically like just never spoke or talked to me again because I wouldn't indulge in a threesome with her and her friend. And the crazy thing is about this whole tour, I would say that's probably not like the most someone's trying to like come on to me or do stuff, but I would say it was the strangest because they had literally come out there with the sole purpose to just like hook up with me, and they were both in on it together, like, yo, we're gonna like, you know, have this dude together or whatever. Yeah, that's just another tour story. If you guys like these videos, you guys want some more, I got some more insane ones, so make sure you like and subscribe, leave in the comments what you guys think. If you watch this, I hope you're proud of me. Anyways, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, it would mean the world to me. Check out my other videos. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Through the curtains, drifting from the door. City lights are flickering, calling out my name. Something in the distance pulling me away. Footsteps on the pavement, heart beating my chest. Every turn I take feels further than the rest. I know where you're going. I just know I need one more glimpse of your light disappearing out of reach. I gave my heart 3 in the morning, it's 3 in the morning, it's 3 in the morning. DJ Sin, it's 3 in the morning, shadows in the floor, cold air through the curtains, drifting from the door.